Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the epic trajectory of, arguably, the most famous basketball player in history, Michael Jordan. We're going to trace a truly fascinating transformation, following his journey from a high school player facing a deeply relatable rejection all the way to global athletic icon and eventually a pioneering business mogul. Whether you're a lifelong hoops fan or just curious about the anatomy of unprecedented success, this is an absolute masterclass in determination.
Okay, let's dive into this because this number right here is absolutely staggering. $4.3 billion. As of 2026, that is Michael Jordan's estimated net worth. He is officially the wealthiest athlete of all time and one of the world's richest celebrities. But this begs a massive question, right? How exactly do you build a multi-billion-dollar empire starting with nothing but a pair of sneakers and a basketball? How did he actually get here?
Section 1. Making of a Legend. Early life and setbacks. So, growing up with this fiercely competitive spirit in North Carolina, his path to greatness definitely wasn't an instant success story. When Jordan was a sophomore at Emsley A. Laney High School, he tried out for the varsity basketball team. And the verdict? Well, at 5 feet 11 inches, he was deemed simply too short. He got cut from the varsity roster. It's a famously relatable setback, you know? Imagine being the future greatest of all time and being told you just aren't good enough for your own high school team. The absolutely crucial point here is how he reacted to that rejection. Instead of quitting, Jordan channeled that disappointment into pure, unadulterated motivation. First, he became the absolute star of the junior varsity team, routinely dropping 40-point games. Then, over the summer, nature gave him a bit of a hand. He grew 4 inches. But it was his rigorous training that truly made the difference. When he finally made the varsity roster the very next year, he proved his worth by averaging over 25 points per game. Oh, and this was also when he adopted a number you just might recognize, 23. Section 2. The Carolina Turning Point. College Triumphs. That high school dominance quickly caught the attention of major recruiters. Entering the University of North Carolina in 1981, Jordan had to adapt to legendary coach Dean Smith's team-oriented system. It wasn't just about raw scoring anymore. It was about learning how to win as a cohesive unit. And win they did. As a freshman, Jordan found himself in the 1982 NCAA championship game against Georgetown, a team led by future NBA rival Patrick Ewing. With the game on the line, Jordan hit the game-winning jump shot. Jordan himself actually described this exact moment as the major turning point in his basketball career. It was the moment he transitioned from a talented young player to a national name who could perform under the absolute brightest lights. Building on that championship, his college career just skyrocketed. By his junior year in 1984, he was named the consensus National College Player of the Year, and he decided it was time to turn pro. He was selected 3rd overall in the 1984 NBA draft by the Chicago Bulls. And just to cap off an already incredible year, he won an Olympic gold medal representing the United States out in Los Angeles. The stage was completely set for his arrival in the pros. Section 3. Ruling the NBA. The Ascendancy. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how quickly he completely dominated the league. Entering the 1984-85 season, his transition was seamless. He immediately showcased a prolific scoring ability and a defensive prowess that literally terrified opponents. Taking home the NBA Rookie of the Year award and earning the legendary nickname Air Jordan, his individual accolades were instant. He didn't just play, he ruled. But, individual accomplishments weren't enough for his vehement competitiveness. He wanted rings. This timeline highlights his absolute dominance in the early 90s. In 1991, Jordan secured his first NBA title with the Bulls. He immediately followed that up with championships in 1992 and 1993. This historic three-peat established him not just as a star, but as the undisputed king of the basketball world. Section 4. The Baseball Detour. A surprising pivot. The contrast here is pretty fascinating to look at conceptually. On one hand, you have a basketball god, a guy who would go on to be a 10-time NBA scoring champion. On the other hand, in 1993, at the absolute peak of his powers, Jordan shocked the world by retiring from basketball to become a minor league outfielder for the Birmingham Barons. He finished his 1994 season with a .202 batting average and 3 home runs. It's a little lighthearted, sure, but it really humanizes this larger-than-life persona. It showed he was willing to be a beginner all over again, taking on a completely different challenge just to test his own limits. Section 5. A triumphant return. Sealing the legacy. Ultimately, the pull of the hardwood was just too strong. In 1995, he decided to come home to the Chicago Bulls, announcing it with just 2 words sent via press release. "I'm back." That succinct, iconic announcement sent absolute shockwaves through the sports world and immediately shifted the power dynamics of the entire NBA.
If anyone thought his time away hitting curveballs had dulled his competitive edge, well, the 1995-1996 season silenced them forever. The Bulls put together a legendary regular season, securing 72 wins against a mere 10 losses. It was a staggering statistical testament to his unmatched, relentless drive.
That 72-win season culminated in his fourth NBA championship in 1996, and keeping with his own tradition, he added championships 5 and 6 in 1997 and 1998. Yep, another three-peat. 6 total championships and 6 NBA Finals MVP awards to go right along with them. This unparalleled run permanently etched his name into the bedrock of sports history.
Section 6. Player to billionaire owner. The business mogul. And this brilliantly illustrates how, while his athletic legacy was secure, his wealth building was honestly only just getting started after his final retirement in 2003. Jordan is easily one of the most effectively marketed athletes ever. He fueled the phenomenal success of Nike's Air Jordan sneakers, which debuted back in 1984 and remain incredibly popular today. He expanded into media, starring in the 1996 hit film Space Jam. But he also moved into the owner's box. He took majority control of the NBA's Charlotte Hornets from 2010 to 2023. And extending his reach way beyond basketball, he became a co-owner of 23XI Racing in the NASCAR Cup Series.
And look, Jordan doesn't just own teams to participate, he owns them to win. His winning mentality continues to yield massive results today. As an owner of 23XY Racing, he has celebrated incredible milestones, including back-to-back Brickyard 400 championships in 2025 and 2026, as well as winning the super prestigious Daytona 500 in 2026. The competitive fire clearly still burns as bright as ever.
Which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. Looking at the full scope of his life, from being cut from the varsity team to hitting game-winning shots, executing 2 historic three-peats, and building an unprecedented boardroom portfolio, we really have to ask, where does Michael Jordan's true legacy lie? Is it in the 6 championship rings that defined an entire era of basketball? Or is it in the $4.3 billion empire that completely redefined what an athlete could achieve off the court? It's a fascinating question to ponder. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive, and I'll catch you in the next one.